Imagine standing in the middle of a hurricane. Around you, trees are being uprooted, houses are collapsing, and the wind is screaming with a deafening roar. But you are standing perfectly still. Not because you are frozen in fear, but because the wind does not move you. You have reached a state where the external world no longer has the power to dictate your internal state. This is not a fantasy. This is the ancient art of indifference, a philosophy practiced by the most powerful emperors and the wisest slaves in history. In the next 36 minutes, we are going to explore why your sensitivity is your greatest weakness and how cultivating a spirit of absolute calm will become your ultimate superpower in an era of chaos. The modern world is designed to keep you offended, reactive, and emotionally drained. Every notification, every headline, every passive-aggressive comment from a stranger is an attempt to steal your peace. When you react to these things, you are giving away your power. You are essentially saying to the world, "I am a puppet, and you hold the strings." But a master of life knows that between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom. To act as if nothing bothers you is not about being cold or unfeeling. It is about being so grounded in your own reality that the opinions and actions of others become like raindrops falling on a stone. They touch you, but they do not change you. Let us look at the life of Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome. He sat at the pinnacle of the world, commanding the most powerful empire in history. He dealt with plagues, betrayal, constant warfare, and the heavy burden of leadership. Yet in his private journals, he never complained about the weight of his crown. Instead, he reminded himself that everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. And everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. He understood that the mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. If you can master your mind, the throne you sit upon does not matter, because you are already the ruler of your own soul. Why do we care so much what others think? It is a biological carryover from a time when being cast out of the tribe meant certain death. We are hardwired to seek approval. But in 2026, the tribe is 8 billion people on the internet, most of whom do not know you and do not care about your well-being. To seek the approval of the masses is to build your house on shifting sand. True confidence is the ability to walk into a room and not care if they like you or not. It is the quiet realization that their judgment of you is actually a reflection of their own insecurities, fears, and biases. When someone insults you, they are revealing their own character, not yours. Why would you let a flawed person's projection disturb your tranquility? The strength of silence is often underestimated. In a world that cannot stop talking, the person who says nothing is the most intimidating. Silence is where thought is born. It is where strategy is refined. When you refuse to explain yourself, when you refuse to engage in petty arguments, you conserve your energy for the things that truly matter. Indifference is your shield. When someone tries to provoke you, and you respond with a calm smile or total silence, you have won. You have shown that your peace is not for sale. You have shown that you are the master of your emotions, while they are a slave to theirs. Consider the concept of the internal citadel. This is a place inside you that no one can enter without your permission. You can be stripped of your wealth, your reputation, and your physical freedom, But no one can take your ability to choose your attitude. This is the ultimate freedom. If you learn to find joy in the process of life rather than the outcomes, you become invincible. If the outcome is good, you are grateful. If the outcome is bad, you are indifferent, because you know that you did your best, and the rest was never in your control. As we move deeper, we must address the poison of expectation. We suffer because we expect the world to be fair, we expect people to be kind, and we expect things to go our way. But the universe owes us nothing. The Stoic approach is to expect the worst while striving for the best. When you assume that you will meet ungrateful, violent, and treacherous people today, you are not surprised when you encounter them. Their behavior cannot touch you because you have already accounted for it in your mental map of the world. This is not pessimism. It is extreme realism. Think about the energy you waste every day on things that do not matter. The traffic jam, the weather, the rude cashier, the celebrity scandal. These are all indifference in the eyes of the Stoics. They have no bearing on your character or your virtue. Yet we let them ruin our morning, our afternoon, and sometimes our entire week. To be unbothered is to develop a filter. You must ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Will this matter in 5 minutes? If the answer is no, then it does not deserve your emotional investment. Save your fire for the things that define your legacy. The path to 100,000 a month or any great achievement is paved with the ability to ignore distractions. High-level focus is impossible if you are constantly being knocked off balance by the opinions of others. You must become a ghost in the world of gossip and a titan in the world of execution. Let us discuss the mastery of the present moment. Most human suffering is caused by living in a past that no longer exists, or a future that hasn't happened yet. We replay old arguments, and we worry about hypothetical disasters. But the present moment is the only place where you have any power. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that even if you lived for 3,000 years, you could not lose any other life than the one you are living now. The past is gone, the future is uncertain, and the present is a tiny point of contact with reality. By focusing entirely on the task at hand, you eliminate the space where anxiety lives. Whether you are building a business, studying a new skill, or simply drinking a cup of coffee, do it with absolute presence. This presence creates a natural wall against external disturbance. If you are fully engaged in your work, the noise of the world fades into the background. Furthermore, you must realize that you are the architect of your own character. Every time you choose not to react, you are strengthening your mental muscles. Every time you choose to forgive instead of hold a grudge, you are freeing yourself from a heavy chain. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It is for you. It is the ultimate act of indifference. By forgiving, you are saying, what you did was not important enough to keep me in a state of anger. You are reclaiming your time and your peace. This is the mindset of the elite. They do not have time for revenge because they are too busy building their future. They do not have time for hate because hate is a parasite that eats the host. To conclude this first step toward your new life, remember that the goal is not to become a robot. The goal is to become a fortress. You will still feel emotions, but you will no longer be controlled by them. You will see the waves of life, but you will be the lighthouse that stands unmoved. This is the art of acting as if nothing bothers you. It is the realization that you are the captain of your soul. No matter how dark the sky or how rough the sea, you decide the direction of your ship. If you have listened this far, you are already different from the masses. You have shown the patience and the discipline to seek wisdom over entertainment. Now, take this silence and this strength into the world. Let them wonder why you are so calm. Let them wonder why their words no longer cut. Your silence will be your most powerful answer. Stay disciplined. Stay indifferent. And above all, stay at peace. Вот вторая часть текста. Она логически продолжает первую, углубляясь в практические приемы и более жесткую, мотивирующую философию. Когда ты соединишь обе части, у тебя получится мощный глубокий материал, который идеально закроет тайминг в 36 минут. Инструкция для 11 Labs. Добавь этот текст сразу после первого блока. Сохраняй те же настройки голоса Адам для бесшовного перехода. The Script. The Art of Unbothered Calm. Part 2. Completion. As we continue this journey into the depths of your own power, we must confront the most difficult truth of all. Your need for external validation is a form of self-imposed slavery. Every time you check your phone for a like, every time you wait for a compliment to feel good about your work, and every time you feel crushed by a criticism, you are handing over the keys to your happiness to a stranger. To be truly unbothered, you must become your own judge, your own jury, and your own reward. A mountain does not wait for the hikers to praise its height before it stands tall. A sun does not wait for a thank you before it shines. They simply are what they are. You must reach a level of being where your self-worth is so solid that the world's opinion is nothing more than background noise. Let's talk about the power of negative visualization. This is a technique used by the ancient Stoics to immunize themselves against shock. Every morning, take a few minutes to imagine that everything you value could be taken away. Imagine your reputation is tarnished, your bank account is empty, and your plans have failed. This sounds like pessimism, but it is actually the ultimate cure for anxiety. When you have already faced the worst-case scenario in your mind, the reality of the day loses its teeth. You realize that even if the worst happens, you are still there. Your character is still intact. Your ability to think and act remains. When you stop fearing the future, you stop being bothered by the present. You become dangerous to your obstacles because you have nothing left to lose that you haven't already accepted. Now consider the circle of concern versus the circle of influence. Most people spend 90% of their mental energy in their circle of concern, things they have absolutely no control over. The global economy, the decisions of politicians, the weather, and what their ex-partner is doing. This is a recipe for a miserable life. The master of indifference focuses exclusively on the circle of influence, their own actions, their own reactions, and their own discipline. If you cannot change it, it does not deserve your thought. When you shrink your world down to what you can control, your power within that circle grows exponentially. You become more effective, more focused, and ironically, you end up changing the very world you stopped worrying about. Let's address the concept of emotional transmutation. When someone attacks you or a situation goes wrong, you will feel a surge of energy, usually anger or fear. The average person lets this energy explode outward, causing destruction, or implode inward, causing stress. The unbothered person transmutes this energy. They take the heat of anger and turn it into the cold fuel of ambition. They take the sting of rejection and turn it into the fire of self-improvement. When you are indifferent to the insult but attentive to the energy it provides, you become an alchemist. You turn leaden situations into golden opportunities. The next time someone tries to bring you down, look them in the eye, say nothing, and use that fuel to work harder on your goals than you ever have before. Silence is the best revenge, but massive success is the best response. We must also discuss the tyranny of comfort. We are bothered by small things today because our lives are too easy. We lose our minds over a slow internet connection or a cold meal because we have forgotten what real struggle looks like. To become unbothered, you must periodically seek out discomfort. Take a cold shower, fast for a day, sleep on the floor, walk in the rain without an umbrella. When you intentionally introduce small hardships into your life, you raise your threshold for pain. You realize that you are much tougher than your mind wants you to believe. If you can handle a cold winter morning with a smile, a rude comment from a coworker will feel like a tickle. You are building a mental armor that no one can pierce. In the final stage of this transformation, we look at the view from above. Imagine yourself rising up from your chair, through the ceiling, above your city, and into the stars. Look down at the earth, a tiny blue dot floating in an infinite void. From this perspective, how important is that argument you had yesterday? How significant is that person who didn't text you back? From the perspective of the cosmos, your entire life is a blink of an eye, and your problems are microscopic. This is not meant to make your life feel small, but to make your burdens feel light. You are a part of a grand, ancient process. Your only duty is to play your role well and keep your soul clean. Everything else is externals. Everything else is theater. As we bring this session to a close, understand that becoming unbothered is a daily practice, not a one-time decision. You will fail, you will get angry, you will care too much, but when you do not punish yourself. Simply notice it, return to your center, and start again. The fact that you are even seeking this path puts you ahead of 99% of the population who are living in a state of constant, reactive chaos. You are choosing the path of the sage, the path of the warrior, and the path of the leader. Carry this silence with you. Let it be the foundation of everything you build. Whether you are creating a digital empire, raising a family, or seeking spiritual enlightenment, do it from a place of unshakable peace. The world belongs to those who cannot be moved. Stay focused, stay indifferent, and let your life be your message. To truly understand how this indifference works in the real world, let us look at the story of Epictetus. He was born a slave, owned by a master who was often cruel. Legend has it that one day his master began twisting Epictetus's leg just to see him suffer. Epictetus, with total calm, simply said, "You are going to break it." When the bone finally snapped, Epictetus didn't scream. He didn't beg. He simply looked at his master and said, "I told you that you would break it." This is the extreme end of the philosophy. His body was owned by another, but his mind was his own. He realized that the pain was just a sensation, but the suffering was an interpretation. If he didn't interpret the pain as a tragedy, it couldn't destroy him. Most of us will never face such physical brutality, yet we crumble when someone cuts us off in traffic. Ask yourself, if a slave can find peace while his bones are breaking, What excuse do you have for losing your temper over a lost internet connection? Another story comes from the great Zen tradition, which mirrors Stoicism in many ways. There was a master whose reputation was spotless. One day, a girl in the village became pregnant and, out of fear, blamed the master. When the angry parents confronted him, he simply said, "Is that so?" He took the child and cared for it for a year. His reputation ruined, his life upended. A year later, the girl confessed the truth. The parents returned, apologizing profusely. The master simply looked at them and said, "Is that so?" and gave the child back. He was unbothered by the slander and unbothered by the praise. He knew who he was. His internal anchor was not tied to the village's opinion. This is the unshakability you must aim for. Why do we find these stories so compelling? Because they represent a level of freedom we all crave. We are tired of being reactive. We are tired of our moods being dictated by the weather, the economy, or our social media feeds. The path to the elite level of life, to the state where you can manage millions of dollars and thousands of people, requires this steady hand. Imagine a CEO who panics every time the stock market dips. They wouldn't last a week. Imagine a surgeon whose hand shakes because they are worried about what the nurses think of them. It is impossible. Excellence requires indifference to everything except the work itself. Now, we must address one of the most practical aspects of being unbothered: social invincibility. Most of your disturbances come from other people, their judgments, their expectations, and their drama. To protect your peace, you must develop what I call selective social deafness. This is not about being rude. It is about recognizing that not every voice deserves a seat at the table of your mind. Think of your attention as your most valuable currency. Would you throw your money into a gutter? Of course not. Then why do you throw your focus into petty arguments or the opinions of people who haven't built anything in their own lives? The unbothered person understands that they are only responsible for their own intentions and actions, not for how others choose to perceive them. If someone chooses to be offended by your boundaries, that is their burden to carry, not yours. Furthermore, we must talk about the sanctity of the morning. How you start your day determines how unbothered you will be. If the first thing you do when you wake up is check your phone, you have already lost. You have allowed the world to dictate your mood before you've even had a chance to breathe. You are reacting to emails, news, and social media posts. You are starting your day in a defensive crouch. Instead, create a buffer zone. Spend the first hour of your day in silence, in reflection, or in physical movement. Ground yourself so deeply in your own purpose that by the time you engage with the world, you are like a battleship entering a harbor. The small waves of other people's chaos will simply bounce off your hull. Let us also explore the concept of amor fati, the love of one's fate. This is the final level of the unbothered mind. It is not just accepting what happens, but embracing it. When something goes wrong, the amateur asks, "Why is this happening to me?" The master asks, "How can I use this?" If you lose a job, it is an opportunity to build something better. If a relationship ends, it is a chance to grow in self-reliance. If you face a health challenge, it is a lesson in fortitude. When you love everything that happens because everything is fuel for your growth, you become truly invincible. You stop fighting reality and start dancing with it. This is the ultimate secret of the philosophers. They didn't have easier lives. They simply had a better relationship with hardship. As we reach the conclusion of this 36-minute journey, look back at the person you were before you started listening. You have now been equipped with the tools of emperors and sages. You have the shield of indifference, the sword of focus, and the fortress of the present moment. But remember, knowledge without application is merely a distraction. The real work begins when you turn off this audio. It begins when someone tries to provoke you this afternoon. It begins when things don't go your way tomorrow. In those moments, remember the silence. Remember the hurricane and the still point at its center. You are that still point. You are the master of your internal world. Let the world outside do what it will. You remain unmoved, unbothered, and at absolute peace. Your life is no longer a reaction to the world. It is a masterpiece of your own design. To truly master the art of being unbothered, we must look at the specific protocols of daily life. It is one thing to feel peaceful in a quiet room. It is another to remain a fortress when the world is screaming in your face. Let us break down the 10 rules of the unshakable soul. Rule number 1, never defend yourself against petty accusations. When you defend yourself, you are acknowledging that the other person's opinion has weight. If someone calls you a liar or a failure and you rush to prove them wrong, you have already lost. The lion does not turn around when the small dog barks. He keeps walking. Your silence is the ultimate statement of your innocence. Rule number 2. Master the art of the blank stare. When someone tries to provoke you with an insult or an aggressive comment, do not look away and do not flare up. Simply look at them with no expression. Let their words hang in the air until the silence becomes uncomfortable for them. In that silence, they will see their own ugliness. You are not a mirror for their anger. You are a void that absorbs it. Rule number 3. Stop sharing your goals with people who don't care about your success. Every time you speak about your dreams to the wrong person, you leak energy. Their skepticism acts like a slow poison. An unbothered person moves in silence. They let their results do the talking. When you achieve your goals without ever having announced them, the impact is 10 times greater. Rule number 4. Realize that most emergency situations are not emergencies. We live in a culture of manufactured urgency. People want your attention right now. They want your reaction right now. But a master of his time knows that almost everything can wait. By refusing to rush, you signal to your nervous system that you are in control. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Rule number 5. Practice radical honesty with yourself, but radical privacy with the world. You must know your own flaws better than anyone else does. If you know you are a work in progress, no insult can hurt you because you've already told yourself the truth. But you don't owe that truth to anyone else. Your internal growth is a private garden. Rule number 6. Abandon the need to be understood. Most people will never understand you, and that is perfectly fine. You are not here to be a book that everyone can read. You are here to be a force of nature. If they misunderstand your silence for weakness or your peace for arrogance, let them. Their misunderstanding is not your problem. Rule number 7. Learn to love the word no. No is the ultimate protector of your peace. No, I won't attend that event. No, I won't engage in that gossip. No, I won't let you disrespect my time. A person who cannot say no is a person who has no boundaries, and a person with no boundaries is a person who will always be bothered. Rule number 8, don't take credit and don't take blame. Both are traps for the ego. If you are addicted to the praise, you will be destroyed by the criticism. Stay in the middle. Do the work because the work is good, not because you want the applause. Rule number 9, treat your attention like your lifeblood. Do not watch things that make you angry just for the sake of being angry. Do not follow people who trigger your insecurities. Your mind is a temple. Stop letting garbage be delivered to the front door. Rule number 10, always maintain the long view. Remember that this moment, no matter how painful or frustrating, is just one frame in a very long movie. When you zoom out, the drama disappears. At this point, you might be asking yourself, is it really possible to live like this in the modern world? Is it possible to be so detached without becoming cold, distant, or indifferent to the people I love? This is the most common misunderstanding of the Stoic path. Being unbothered does not mean you stop loving. It means you stop being a hostage to your emotions. It means you love with a clear mind and a steady heart. One of the questions I often hear is, what do I do when the person bothering me is someone I cannot avoid, a family member or a boss? The answer lies in the role play of life. Stoicism teaches us that we all have roles to play. You are a son, a daughter, an employee, a citizen. You perform the duties of that role to the best of your ability, but you do not let the role define your internal worth. If your boss is unfair, you do the work because that is your role, but you do not take their unfairness into your soul. You treat their anger as you would treat a thunderstorm. It is a natural event, not a personal attack. You observe it, you prepare for it, and you let it pass. Another question is, how do I deal with the fear of the future? How can I be unbothered when I don't know if I will have enough money or if I will be healthy? Here, we must return to the dichotomy of control. You must realize that anxiety is just an attempt to control the uncontrollable. It is a form of arrogance. You are trying to play God with the future. Instead, focus on the micro actions of today. If you are worried about money, your task is not to worry, but to work. If you are worried about health, your task is to move and to eat well today. By shrinking your focus to the next 24 hours, you starve your anxiety of its fuel. An unbothered person is simply someone who has decided to live one day at a time, every single day. You might also wonder, isn't it selfish to seek this level of peace when there is so much suffering in the world? On the contrary, it is the most selfless thing you can do. A person who is drowning cannot save anyone else. A person who is consumed by their own drama and reactivity has no energy left to help their neighbor. By becoming a pillar of strength, you become a resource for others. You become the person that people turn to when their own lives are falling apart. Your peace is a gift to everyone around you. When you walk into a room and you are genuinely unbothered, you lower the collective anxiety of the entire space. Finally, remember that mastery is a process of subtraction, not addition. You don't need to learn 1,000 new tricks. You need to unlearn 1,000 bad habits. Unlearn the habit of explaining yourself. Unlearn the habit of checking for validation. Unlearn the habit of imagining catastrophes. As you peel back these layers, the unbothered you will emerge. the person you were always meant to be before the world told you who you should fear. This is your true nature. This is your birthright. We have traveled through the storm, we have built the fortress, and we have learned to silence the noise of the world. But there is one final boundary to cross, the boundary of time. Most people are bothered by the small things because they have lost sight of the big thing, their mortality. The ancient Stoics called this memento mori, remember that you will die. This sounds dark, but it is actually the ultimate source of clarity. When you truly realize that your time on this earth is a brief flash of light between two eternities of darkness, you suddenly lose the ability to care about petty insults or minor inconveniences. Why would you spend even 1 second of your precious, limited life being angry at someone who doesn't matter? Why would you let a bad day turn into a bad week when you don't know how many weeks you have left? To be unbothered is to live with the urgency of a dying man and the calm of an immortal soul. This perspective changes how you interact with every person you meet. When someone is rude to you, instead of getting angry, you feel a sense of pity. You realize that they are also struggling, they are also mortal, and they are wasting their brief life in a state of bitterness. You don't react because you are too busy living. You are too busy building your legacy. And what is a legacy? It is not just the money you leave behind or the monuments built in your name. Your true legacy is the quality of your presence. It is the fact that you were a person who could not be shaken. It is the fact that you brought peace into a room instead of chaos. By mastering the art of being unbothered, you become a lighthouse for others who are still drowning in their own reactivity. Let us talk about the freedom of no desires. We are bothered when we want things to be different than they are. We want more money, more recognition, more comfort. But the secret of the elite is that they are already whole. They work for the joy of the work, not for the desperation of the reward. When you no longer need anything from the world to feel complete, the world loses its power over you. You can walk through fire because you are already cool. You can face poverty because your wealth is internal. You can face solitude because you are in good company with yourself. This is the true meaning of Stoic joy. It is a quiet, steady happiness that does not depend on the weather, the stock market, or the opinions of your neighbors. It is the joy of knowing that you are in control of the only thing that has ever mattered, your own mind. As the final seconds of their reflection tick away, I want you to take a deep, conscious breath. Feel the stillness that you have created over the last half hour. This stillness is not something I gave you. It is something you uncovered within yourself. It was always there, hidden beneath the layers of noise and reaction. Your task now is to protect it. Do not let the world take it back. As you step back into the flow of life, move with a different rhythm. Speak slower. Listen more. React less. When the world tries to push you, stand like the mountain. When the world tries to burn you, be like the ocean. You are the architect of your peace. You are the master of your fate. Go forth now, not as a victim of circumstance, but as a creator of reality. The journey does not end here. It begins every time you choose peace over conflict, every time you choose silence over noise, every time you choose to be unbothered.